All right, welcome to Season 6, Episode 2 of Chatty Madi Monday, brought to you by DeZine Metal Art, and brand new to our show, we'd love to welcome on Bodycraft of Antioch to the show. They are sponsoring Season 6 of Chatty Madi Monday. Thank you so much, Mark. You do so much for the Irish Sprint Car Series. We are so excited to have you as part of Chatty Madi Monday. For those of you who do not know, in the sprint car world, Bodycraft of Antioch has been a huge supporter of Wilmot Raceway and the Irish Sprint Car Series. The Bodycraft of Antioch Pace vehicle, which Mike Babbitt's iconically drives, there's two of them. The Black Knight, I think, is what he called the new one. But that is the Bodycraft of Antioch Pace vehicle. And I've had the pleasure and the honor to be able to drive the Pace truck. It is the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done in my life. But it is so worth it because it is such a nice truck and it has a beautiful meaning to it. So I'm really excited to be part of the Bodycraft of Antioch team. If you are interested in needing some body work done as well, look no further than Bodycraft of Antioch. They are your one-stop shop for auto body and collision repair. Contact Mark and the team at 847-395-8743. We've been really close with Bodycraft of Antioch too, and we've been really fortunate to be able to drive the Pace vehicle. Not only myself, but Preston has also driven the Pace vehicle, and we make sure that I'm looking forward to being able to tailgate with Bodycraft, and I know Mark and Tony are both at the track very often, so we're looking forward to seeing them in 2026 with the Pace vehicle. Additionally, Chatty Madi Monday is brought to you proudly by DeZine Metal Art. DeZine Metal Art is located in Knoxville, Iowa, and they are your one-stop shop for anything for customization. Not only do they do the awesome things that we talk about every week, like our poker chips, right? These are natural, amazing business cards that people will remember. They will stick it in their pocket. They're magnetized, and you can put a QR code on one side and your logo on the other. It is a unique way to get customers to your business or promote your brand. Additionally, they are your one-stop shop for wing panels. If you are interested in designing a wing panel for your team, this is ours from last year and this year. They are excellent quality. You can see a couple of them behind me as well. That is a sprint car thing, but it can be anything that you need it to be. If you need something designed, please reach out to DeZine Metal Art or myself, and we can get you taken care of. Thank you so much, Greg, for sponsoring with DeZine Metal Art here for Chatty Madi Monday. And one final thing here as well, Chatty Madi Monday is brought to you by Shape of You Nutrition. I have my Gym Savior in my, what is this, a hydro jug? Yeah, which is Liftoff, which is natural caffeine. Hydration, which is good for, I just got done with a workout, so it's an ultra hydrator, and Best Defense, which is vitamin C. So I'm trying just to fight off the cold that is inevitable. I'm a fourth grade teacher, so definitely something that I love in my routine as well today. So I'm ending my night with a little bit of a Gym Savior is what it's called. You can head on over to Shape of You Nutrition in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and tell them that Chatty Madi sent you, and you are looking for the Gym Savior. That is what I am drinking. Orange Liftoff, Orange H3O, which is that ultra hydrator, and vitamin C, which is orange flavored. We can make it in a pineapple or blackberry as well. Head on over to Shape of You Nutrition. And of course, we really want to thank Living Like Outlaws, who I know just commented in our video, for sharing our video on Monday nights. We are proud to be part of your Monday night program. And if you are watching from Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook here, make sure you comment where you're listening from. Today is going to be a phenomenal show. We just had Flat Out Friday. Last Monday, we were with Scotty McHottie. We were with Scotty Dupler, talking a little bit about Flat Out Friday. Today, we have another very special guest. You may know him if you have watched Flat Out Friday in the past couple of years. There is an iconic Goofball class, and in that Goofball class, for those of you who do not know what that is, it is a costume race where basically the more extravagant, the better. And an iconic moment of Flat Out Friday is how extravagant this guy can get with his costumes. Jim, welcome so much to Chatty Madi Monday. I'm so excited to have you on the show here tonight.
So happy to be here with you as well.
Let me back up a step. I got back from Mama Tried Sunday in Milwaukee area on Sunday. And I kind of prep my week on Sunday. As a teacher, I have a lot of things I have to prep for the week, but I try to also prep my podcast as well Sunday night. And I'm thinking about the weekend, and I'm thinking about who would be a really cool person to have on the show. And I'm like, this is going to be perfect. Why don't we have Jim Delisle on the show, talk about Masters class, talk about the Goofball, and talk more about Flat Out Friday, which was this past Friday here in Milwaukee. So I thought I'm just so excited for you to be on the show here.
Yeah, excellent.
So I kind of want to start as a generic Flat Out Friday. Can you walk me through, like, how was your Flat Out Friday this past Friday at Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee?
As always, it's a really fantastic day, and it is a full day. I mean, we get down there about 8 a.m. and we're there till 11 o'clock by the time you pack up. But as always, Jeremy and his crew, they put on a tremendous event, and as is often called, it's a show, right? Yes, there's racing involved, but it is truly a show and highly entertaining. So everything goes every year a little bit better, like better clockwork. They refine it every year and just get it better for the spectators, but also for all the racers and the racers, pit crews and everything. It really has become something that's quite well-oiled, is a great way to put it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I've only seen the producing side of the show. How has it kind of evolved as a racer standpoint? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's become just a little bit more business-like. In the beginning, there were, just spreadsheets and you signed up and it was kind of email and some phone calls. Sure. But it's become where they've got a system with Motorsports Reg where you sign up and make the cut. If everybody's waiting. If sign up opens up at 7 p.m., some of those classes fill by 7:30 that same night because everybody is waiting for that hour to open up because there are only so many spots in each of the class. So it's become kind of a rush to the lottery to get your winning ticket, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, being able to race at such a unique venue. Do you race Battle at the Barn?
I have not. I've looked into it. It kind of it collides with. I'm also a club volleyball coach, so a lot of the things on the weekends collide. This weekend, the next morning I had tournaments Saturday and yesterday as well. So very packed weekend. But Battle of the Barns usually overlaps with some of the first tournaments of the season.
But racing at Pfizer Forum, I guess I can relay back to in particular, is something so special. I feel like Pfizer, and especially this year, the track was really different than I feel like it was in the past. Talk about kind of what the track surface is like for somebody that doesn't necessarily know what that's like.
Sure. Well, they start out with the polished concrete floor that's beneath either the Bucks floor if they do any other shows, and they spray it down with Dr. Pepper soda syrup. This year they seem to have a really good mix. It was sticky even before the bikes got out there, the quad. Mm-hmm. I saw people with slip-on shoes walking and lose a shoe because, and then, while Jeremy's trying to do the pre-meeting racers meeting, anybody moving their feet, you heard this, the crack,
right? Definitely.
Shoes pulling off a sticky floor. Once that, we start putting bikes on there and the quads run a few laps, that sugar pulls some of the rubber off the tires and makes for a groove, so to speak, or a track that you see when you watch the video, the blackening, that's actually becoming rubber from the tires. So it gives it that good grip. Otherwise, we'd be just basically on ice.
Right. And I think that this year, especially, like you had mentioned, even during the riders meeting, I felt like the track kind of took rubber more quickly this year. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. The track was phenomenal. I mean, I personally had some good runs and the bike ran well. I don't know if it was the track, the bike, or me, or the combination, but it was, I don't think there was anybody complaining about conditions at all this year.
Yeah, Chuck does a fantastic job with that Harley quad that he has. I think that's just such a cool way that they prepped the track. I think that it was absolutely beautiful, and you definitely paid off. Like you said, you don't know what variable it was, you, the bike, the track. I think it was a mix of all because you did lock in a win on Friday night. Can I take a step back? Can you tell viewers what kind of motorcycle you race?
It's a 1978 Yamaha TT 500. They were very popular in those years, and still now in vintage class. It's a single cylinder 500. They've got great torque and a great low end, so they're good for that short track racing scenario. So that's the bike I've been using for the last, I don't know, 6 years, 7 years.
And I mean, it was just absolutely flawless with your feature at night. You wound up actually taking home the win. For people that don't necessarily know, when you start a race, you kind of want to get to the inside of the track, correct?
Correct.
So you had a really good dominant line, I would say, for the majority of your feature, which I believed helped you locked in that win.
It did. I mean, I found the right line, and I was able to push, not physically push, but push people to the outside and establish my rights to have the inside line. And it just, again, everything worked and lined up just so well that I had some really good runs.
I'm sorry if you answered this earlier. Can you talk about how many times you've raced Flat Out Friday over the years, and if you've changed classes throughout it at all?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it since 2018. I know they're in their 10th year. I don't remember if the first year that I sat in the stands, 2016 or 2017.
Sure.
Following that, I thought I should do this, right? I did not have a flat track bike at that point. I wasn't racing at all even. So the first year, all I did was Goofball. Then the next year, I did Goofball, and I bought a bike that was not really well set up. Mufflers dragging. I was skidding out. And then ever since 2019 or 2020, I've been in the vintage class, and every other year they run the 60 and Masters Plus, or it's brakeless. So I'm either in one of those two, which clearly by the name, the bikes cannot have brakes.
It makes it way more fun that way, I guess.
Well, as Mark Martinich always says, that's why they call it racing, not braking.
Absolutely. I would completely agree. You talk about how you've been racing Flat Friday a couple of years now, since 2018. How would, and this is a great segue, how would you advise someone who wants to get into flat track racing? Is there a good path? So for example, in like sprint car racing, if you wanted to get up to a 410 sprint car, you have to be a certain age, but you probably would want some experience beforehand. You know, if people wanted to get into flat track racing, what would be your advice for coaching per se to get up to something like that?
Yeah, I would say go out to one of our local tracks, walk through the pits, talk to racers, find out, all you can. The community in flat track is very helpful. They'll aid you. They'll tell you, they'll say, hey, here's a great bike that maybe you should try. I know racers that will lend you a bike and say, try the beginner class, right?
Right.
Bring your apparel next time. Make sure you got, the gloves, hat, boots, helmet, and you can borrow my bike, right? And go from there. And if you like it, there's beginners classes. If you win those too many, they kick you up to C class, right? And so it's a progression, right? You're not going to be in A class right away. If it's youth, there's youth classes based on CC, and there's women's classes as well that are getting very popular, and you can find one that you fit in all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's what you had touched on as well, is that motorcycle racing and flat track is such an open culture. I think that everybody wants to get everybody involved, and they will lend you an arm and a leg in a motorcycle as long as you show up and have a good personality.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, Flat Out Friday was my first venture in it. I've only been doing it since I did Flat Out Friday. And, what you put into it, you can get out of it. And like I said, the last couple of years, I've had some success there in the brakeless class and in the Masters class. Still can't crack the top 3 in vintage, but I'm working on it.
Right.
There's some quick guys out there.
Yeah. Talk about the people you race against. You talk about how good of a culture it is just in general, but the group of riders that you specifically race with has to be a specific age, right? It's 50 plus?
60 plus.
60? I wasn't trying to age you, Jim. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
The group is,
everybody in that in the 60 plus Masters class has to be, clearly by the title, 60 years or older. And Chuck Dickerson's in the class. He's 85 and still racing. He's been racing 60 years, right? So it's the wide range, but by no means does that mean anybody in that group is slow or
A
lost
slouch.
their touch? They are, a lot of them been racing a long time.
Yeah.
You get to the vintage class, you can have everybody from 18 years up, and some really quick guys, your Jacob Holters, your August Zaraskis that,
Yeah.
They fly, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that it was a very incredible race that you put on in the class this last Friday. So congratulations again on
Thank
your
you.
win. Glad we could talk in JP Cycles victory lane that night.
Yeah, that was great.
I wanted to kind of bring up, and I need you to connect the dots. I'm actually asking an honest question. I'm looking at your Facebook, and I'm making friends at Flat Out, but we do only see some of these people once or twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
Is this your daughter?
It is.
So can you tell me a little bit more about how you guys can do this together? This picture is just a beautiful picture. That's you with one of your goofball costumes, and that's your daughter. Tell us a little bit about this relationship that you guys get to do.
She's always been kind of interested in the motorcycle end of it. She has not expressed interest in racing. We've done some.
I've been trying to get her to go on a boonie bike.
Yeah, but
we'll see.
There's been times where I've had her on bikes and she played college volleyball and played club volleyball, and there'd be times just before tryouts I'd have her out in the yard riding, and my wife was not really thrilled about that because arms break and legs burn. She did get
the safest motorsport to drive.
What's that?
It's not the safest motorsports to get into. Really, it's any form of motorsports, but
yeah. But she a couple of years ago showed interest in being on there. She, if you've noticed, outside of you and some photographers, she's the only female track monkey out there. So she's earned kind of her keep out there, and they look for her each year. And it's just great to have her there most of the day as well.
I'm going to kind of reel this into my next part as well. So I've been coming, since 2021, and she's been there as well. So we've been kind of getting, again, we see each other once a year. It's really cool to have her. Is she the one that comes up with all your ideas for Goofball? Do you collaborate on that? Is it you and your wife? How do you come up with the Goofball class?
Yeah, a lot of it is me, and I bounce things off my wife. This year was difficult, being the 10th anniversary.
Right.
I wanted to do something. I was having a creative dry spell for the longest time, and my wife Shell said, well, why don't you do Chatty Madi? And I don't know if she threw it off the cuff as like, yeah. And I went, as a 10th anniversary and everything, that pays tribute to Flat Out Friday itself, to you, to people in the stands recognize who you are, people in the back know who you are. And it was just kind of a throw to everything that's Flat Out Friday. The other things I've done are recognizable. They're cool.
Right.
But this was just something that, put it back to that family and community of behind the scenes and in front of the people.
Yeah, I had no idea at all. The Goofball I have mentioned on the broadcast plenty of times. Is one of my favorite parts of the night. I love whatever people come up with. The crazier, the most outrageous, the better. I think it's a great way to end the show. So when I think Crystal Clear Moments captured this picture, this was when he rolled out with that. And Scotty was like, look. I'm like, what am I looking at? And then Micah was like, hey, no, you need to have Maddie on this. Like, you have to be. I'm like, what is going on? That was the coolest thing. And for those of you who didn't watch the broadcast stream, this is one of my favorite photos. I'm going to get this printed for us, Jim, for next year. What a crazy photo. If I would have worn my bomber jacket, it was just so hot back there, specifically this year. It's actually never been that hot before.
Yeah, it was very warm.
And then I had thrown my glasses to some fan, but that was a direct match down to my hair. And it was absolutely incredible. I have the plate that you printed for the front of your motorcycle as well. I actually am working on putting a new setup for Chatty Madi Monday. But that was absolutely incredible. My cheeks hurt from smiling for that entire Goofball race. So that was incredible.
So I wanted it to be where nobody really knew. And a lot of times when I'm building the other costumes on Facebook, there's progressions, right? And I show a little, drips of information here and there.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're almost on display in the pits before Goofball. This one was kept under wraps. Mark and Micah were informed. Jeremy didn't know. Clearly you didn't know.
I had no idea.
And I wanted it to be where everybody saw it like all at once. So it was, people in the pits were like, hey, we haven't seen anything on your Facebook. Are you not doing Goofball this year? We wonder what you're going to do, and we wait all year and we've seen nothing. So, and then, Micah and Mark built it up a lot in the broadcast, right?
They did, definitely. And it was kind of cool that I promise you, I had no idea at all. And then Micah and Mark hyped it up, and they were like, no, you have to have the camera on it. You gotta get your action. I'm like, what is going on here? So I thought that was absolutely incredible. The Temu stickers all the way down to the little squares. I put them in my classroom. They're everywhere right now. I thought it was absolutely incredible. I cannot thank you enough for that as well. That is so cool.
And I just have to correct one part. I don't know if it was written or what you said was, I think it was in the interview at the end. When I gave them to you that morning, did not say I was just being nice. What I said was, I'm preemptively giving you these as an apology.
Yeah, I thought it was something like that, because you had said, like, this is me being nice.
You looked at me like, huh? An apology?
I was like, I hold no grudges. I think I had no idea if I had cheesed you off or whatever. And I'm like, okay, but like, I recognized you, and I know that you have really iconic goofballs, and we've talked in the past.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, great. I love the stickers. That was so thoughtful. I'm so happy. And then I have a couple of friends that were there or watching, and they were taking pictures, and that was what blew up on the internet. It was so spot on, all the way down to my hair and my face. It was absolutely incredible. My reaction, I think, said it all.
The print of your face, I usually they dim the lights there, so I tried to put more color in the vinyl so that it could be picked up and not washed out. And then they didn't turn the lights on, so you're rather pink.
I was pink, but you know what? I was excitedness. I think my face turned a little red too. I mean, it was fine.
I was actually quite surprised when we both got on the bike just how close the color of the pants I found were.
Let's look at this. Where did you find these? Because I got mine at some shack in the middle of a Milwaukee mall. And it wasn't like, they're like Temu pants. Like, they're not high quality. But you got them so spot on.
They were a lot of searching on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And to be honest, I found out now that a men's size 36 waist is the same as a women's size 14 regular, because those are women's pants. So
gotcha.
They were stretch jean material, very hard to get on and even worse to get off.
I would believe that. It is the same my way as well. It is a process.
Yeah. So it was, it was just a whole lot of fun. It was, I tend to want to have the costume be more, I don't like to over design the bike, so to speak, and because I don't want to chop the bike up.
Right. But we'll get into chopping up a bike.
Yeah. So
but I think
that was fun.
Incredible. I also want to go back and talk just very briefly. You've had other pretty magical moments, if you will. This was the one that I think was absolutely flawless. I think that one is iconic in and of itself. That's you as like Pegasus or like a Trojan armored guy.
Yeah.
That one I remember as well. I also have you as Oogie Boogie, which I remember from last year. There was a picture that I tried to get where there was smoke around you. I thought that was pretty cool. But can you take me through probably what was your favorite Goofball creation within the past couple of years?
Yeah, that's kind of hard. I mean, the build process is what I really enjoy. So Mr. Oogie Boogie was a lot of sewing of that burlap. Sewing machines are machines, so I love sewing. I love sewing machines.
Yeah.
Probably the Davy Jones
the one with the picture of you and your daughter.
Boat. Yeah, so I made all the latex tentacles there, which were clay molds that I embedded Cheerios in and then dipped in latex. Wow. The Cheerios made the suckers of that. It was the hat I learned about, that is true hat felt that you form and heat and bend. And then the latex claw I made.
Yeah, right.
That costume probably took me the most amount of time to build, create, and learn. So I mean, that's probably up there with one of the ones I really like. But I've enjoyed building all of them. They're time I spend in my basement building stuff.
Yeah, I think they always are incredible. And then one of my final questions for the goofball segment is like, do you have a favorite non-creation of yours that you could highlight? Do you have a favorite of something that somebody else has brought to the table?
Yeah, I mean, bike wise, I really liked the jet ski.
I love the jet ski.
I mean, the jet ski was pretty cool. Just throwbacks to my age. There was a guy a few years back that rode as, the guys from Devo. So he had a big Devo head. But every year, the Chariot was pretty cool this year. It's one.
I like that one.
I was talking to Craig before they went out there. I've been working on a Chariot where actually there isn't a person driving a motorcycle. It is being driven by reins, but I don't have that one ready yet.
2027.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that one's going to take a little practice to drive and everything, but yeah,
right.
I've given up the quote unquote wanting to win the race.
Yeah.
There really is no winner, as they say. Somebody might cross first, but what's winning in that? I've always viewed it as, again, Flat Out Friday is a show. I liken it to a circus. And when I was a kid, the clowns came out sporadically here and there like the Boonies. But at the end of the circus, it was clown pandemonium to send you out. Right. And that's what the goofball class is all the clowns sending you out and, the false buckets of water and whatever. So.
Yeah, I thought that was a crazy way to end. I think that is probably the best way to end our show at Flat Out because it is just such a wild, crazy send-off. And I think that I think is the best way to do it because it goes back to how Flat Out Friday is a race, sure, but something that I think that Jeremy Prock does well was organize a great event and a great show that kind of dances and morphs everything together.
And I thought of doing Jeremy Prock this year, but the people in the stands really don't see Jeremy much during the show. They really don't know Jeremy. He's off in the back, but you're up front and out there, and
it was so good. I will cherish that moment for the rest of my life. I thought that was incredible, Jim. I cannot thank you enough. I thought that was great.
Do you want the helmet?
The helmet with my head?
Yeah.
If you aren't using the helmet, I can give you some money or the stickers or whatever you need.
Nope. You get if you want it, because they're usually pretty much done being what they are after they are. So
fantastic. Preston just bought me a Boonie bike. I'm gonna wear that when I go racing it next year. You can't even. This is gonna be.
You might want to open the eye holes a little more because they are very hard to see. You don't see any bikes around you. You just gotta.
Maybe I'll just keep the hair. That way, I can still have I won't have helmet hair. I'll just keep the helmet on.
There you go.
Perfect.
The helmet and the ear protection.
See, perfect. I love it. I really enjoyed having you on the show, Jim. Is there anything else or people you want to thank or anything else you'd like to say while here on the show with us?
I'd just like to thank all my family and friends for the support they, that they give when I'm looking for creations, the time they give me to go do that. Again, it's an all-day event. They come to the races. Colleen works down in the track, right? So, it's just one of those weird things I do.
I absolutely love it. I think that is fantastic. And thank you so much for being on Chatty Madi Monday. Don't leave quite yet once we take you off the stage here. But thank you so much for being part of our show.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. Don't leave quite yet.
Yep, I won't.
Thanks. Okay. Well, that was Jim Delisle. Once again, just the iconic goofball rider, racer, and winner this past weekend at Flat Out Friday. The only other thing I wanted to give a little shout out to those of you who are in more of the sprint car land of this podcast is I've got a photo bomber. For those of you who do not know that are coming from a Flat Out Friday background, is this guy right here. His name is Jim Vladling. Jim is another one that we just had here. Jim is a photo bomber. He started this a couple of years ago innocently, and now it's grown into this phenomenon. You might see him at the Chili Bowl. That's probably where his like most iconic stretch is. But his first appearance was at Flat Out Friday this Friday, and it was truly an honor. When I saw him walk up, I took a selfie with him. I put him in our group chat. I should have asked for his autograph. I think it is so cool what he does. But if you look at the final time that Scotty and I are down at the track, you can see that we did get photo bombed by the one and only Jim Vladlink. That was just a highlight of the night. I thought that was pretty cool as well. That is about it for we have here for Chatty Madi Monday, Season 6, Episode 2, brought to you by Bodycraft of Antioch. Make sure that you give everybody a thumbs up from here, everybody at Chatty Madi Racing News as well. Give Bodycraft of Antioch a like. Give Living Like Outlaws a like. Thank you so much, Wes, for sharing our show. And then anywhere else you are listening to or watching this podcast, thank you so much for being a part of the Monday night program. Next week, Monday, I think we're back to just me and Preston, or maybe me and Dad. We'll see what's going on. If you know someone that wants to be a part of Chatty Madi Monday, kind of talking about the preseason, our sprint car season doesn't necessarily start until April. So if you know someone who wants to be on the show, send them a DM, get them on over here. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much for being a part of Chatty Madi Monday. We will see you next time. Bye, guys.